everybody, this is Victor, and today we're going to take a look at the movie Night of the Hunter, an excellent title for a pretty damn good movie. And let's talk for a second about Robert Mitchum, an actor who has no shortage of great performance under his lengthy career. But I think that his greatest performance in his entire filmography has to be Night of the Hunter. It is one of the most compelling and awful villains of all time, and he is right front and center of the whole story. So let's find out what this movie is about and why it was so much ahead of its time. This is Night of the Hunter. Great Depression in West Virginia, and we have this self-proclaimed preacher, Harry Powell, played by Robert Mitchum, who's traveling throughout the country. He is spreading the word of God, but he is really in fact a serial killer. He's right in the jail cell, but this is from a small misdemeanor he has done, and he's sharing the jail cell with another man who says that he's going to be hung tomorrow because he killed two men. What the cops, however, fail to realize is the fact that he was able to get $10,000 from these two men before they killed him, and they don't know it. And he has hidden this money with his family so that his children may never go hungry again during these hard times. Despite Powell really persuading him to tell him where this all this money is located, he won't give up its secret location, and the secret dies with him. And Powell then decides that he's going to marry Willa, played by Shelley Winters, who is the widow of this man, to be able to get close to his children and persuade them to give up the location of the money. And he travels to this little town, and he wows everybody and really sweeps Willa off her feet and marries her and stuff like that. But he has very sinister plans for his family. But there is a problem. The children doesn't quite trust their new stepdad, and the conflicts between them are growing worse and worse and worse. Are they going to survive this? Is he going to get away with this money? Is there anybody who can stop this absolute monster? We shall see. When Night of the Hunter was released back in 1955, it was a 100% flop. The critics hated it, the audience hated it, and it was very much forgotten. But time eventually caught up to this movie, and it was first viewed as a cult classic, and then it evolved into an absolute 100% classic, which everybody agrees on is one of the greatest movies of the mid-1950s, a movie that still holds up today 100%. I sort of agrees with them. This movie has fantastic authenticity. You really feel like you're there. You really feel like you are in the Great Depression in West Virginia. The movie has an incredible eye for details. Robert Mitchum may not have the same name recognition as a Errol Flynn or a Clark Gable or a James Stewart or any of the other more old-timey classical actors, but he is one of the scariest things you've ever seen. He was fantastic at carving out incredibly compelling villains, and this is his absolute masterpiece. Every little tweak of his eye and every glance he gives you absolute chills. Think of Michael Shannon, but an even more unhinged version of Michael Shannon. He is fan-fucking-tastic in this movie. And it was so compelling, and he was such a fantastic villain. I was on the edge of my seat, and they were setting up for the perfect ending. And then the ending came, and it is how you leave them, folks, because this ending that the Night of the Hunter has was deflating, boring, and I hated it. It was a bit like the ending of WrestleMania 39, and I tried to wiggle myself around the ending towards both that WrestleMania and this ending, and I cannot accept it. I think that it was the wrong decision to do in both cases, and we'll see if history will redeem me on that part or this part. But I think that the ending of this movie was very ineffective and could have been done 100 times better in 100 different ways. They just decided not to do that. I seem to be the minority of this because people apparently love this ending, and okay, I might be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I didn't like it, and there are some pacing issues. Those two things are really the only two things I don't like about this movie. But should you see Night of the Hunter? Yes, most definitely. It's a fantastic movie that still holds up today, 100%. Fantastic acting, fantastic characters, smartly written, incredible tense, incredible suspense. It's just that I didn't like the ending. I'm in the minority of this, but I have to call a shovel, and I don't like the ending, and it kind of tarnished the ratings for this one, but I think it is still a very, very, very good movie that just could have been a little bit better with a better ending. Well, how do you cope with a bad ending? Well, for me, it is by giving this movie 74 points. Robert Mitchum is absolutely fantastic. Powell is one of the all-time greatest villains of all time. It is an absolute treat to see him. He's one of the scariest villains you've ever seen, and I think that is worth the price of admission alone. But there are some problems with this movie, the pacing, and as I said, I didn't like the ending. With a fantastic ending, I would probably have rated this one like a 91, 92 or something like that, but it is a deflating ending and I cannot work myself around it. But I'm probably wrong. I have been wrong before. So I'll see you next time for Well So and So reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.